What a wild ride. You know, for me, life is all about the experiences and the people that you meet, bond with along the way, and the relationships you have with others. I really miss my wife. I wish she was here with me. She's always been in my corner since day one, and she was. Even though she wasn't with me, she was watching the whole entire time, and she has video, so when I get the footage of the competition, I'll, compile that and post a nice video. This is just finishing thoughts for the day. So on paper, I was very successful. In a stacked division, I had 3 podium placements, second place for my division, second place for deadlifts, third place for bench. But from a personal standpoint, it was a failure because I failed to meet my objectives. I had some technical issues when I started squatting, and I could have really used some assistance. I couldn't really tell what I was doing wrong. The Texas squat bar that we use is I think it's like, 32 millimeters. It's not flexible. It's a little bit thicker. So it sits on your back differently. And the way I fixed my squat when I buried the second attempt was I moved the bar, I rolled it up on my traps a little bit, which changed my center of gravity, and it basically sunk my rear end a little bit more. And I thought I did that on the third attempt when I tried to do 590, and that squat moved easily. Like, that was not even a problem. I had all intentions of doing a fourth attempt and trying to break that 600-pound record. Probably with like 620, maybe. I don't know. But because I couldn't get good data, what I really needed was somebody to take good side videos so I could break down the lift and see what I was doing wrong. That's all I needed. And I failed to just get, it was so crowded back there. They didn't run the meet very well. I'm going to actually send a letter to the meet director and say that the back area where the lifters and the coaches are supposed to be was really being overrun, and it was kind of chaotic. I don't want to be a Karen, but I think this is, for a level of this event, at this level, that's kind of important. But that aside, that's just excuses. At the end of the day, I should have got those lifts, and I didn't. I finished with the same total I have for the last 2 meets, so it's like, you kind of got to look at it like I'm the common denominator, and at this point, there's really no excuse. Everybody congratulated me and told me what an awesome job I did, and I had tons of people that were just like approaching me and they thought I did an awesome job, and they couldn't understand why I thought I didn't, but they didn't have the context, What an it's super interesting how this whole thing played out. But I'm going to do some soul searching tonight, because I got to sit down and really think about which direction I want to go into. I have so much untapped potential, but at the same time, I don't know. This has been an interesting one. From the get-go, I was beset with obstacles, and I overcame them all one by one to get to this point where I basically completed my mission. The one thing I can say is, on all my third attempts, rather than playing it safe and trying to pad the numbers so I could get my total higher to look better on paper, I went for it and tried to take the records on all 3 attempts. And of course I failed, but what I can say is at least I tried to leave it on the platform. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't sandbag. I didn't cut a lift short so that I could get my total a little bit better. I don't care about that. That's just like, I don't know, trying to pad your numbers to look good. That's cool. Then you got bragging rights. You can say that you got that total, but I wanted to go for it. I wanted to just put myself out there, and I just didn't have it. I was grinding those lifts too. It wasn't like I just quit. I was grinding them, and I thought I had that deadlift, man. I tore my hand open when I almost got that sucker locked out, and that would have given me first place in the deadlift. I would have even beat my good friend Vassal. He actually injured it. He pulled his groin, so he was hurt, and him and I were talking, and he didn't think that it was really worth injuring himself more, but he would have been good for an 800-pound deadlift. He had done so in the gym and his videos on Instagram. So, you know, there's no way I was going to beat that, but that's not the point, the spirit of competition. It's like, you know, I could have come in heavy and just competed in the next weight class, and I would have just swept the records. But I would rather lose. How do I put it? I even told Vasil, it's like, I'd rather lose to you knowing that I gave it everything I had than win a first place medal because I know I can just move up and take it. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm articulating that properly, but it's like a principle thing, you know? It's like, I don't mind losing. I mind, you know, taking the easy way. So, you know, it's like, what are we doing here? And I love that. That's like the spirit that most of the lifters have. Is that there's two types of lifters. There's guys that are chasing numbers, and they're the ones that'll, you know, they'll play it safe to get those numbers. And then there's guys that just go for it. And most of the guys that were back there at this competition, they were just the die on the platform types. And that's why you saw a ton of failed third attempts, because the guys were really going for it, man. I love it. I love everything about this sport. It has given so much to me, and I've always tried to bring people with me. And I think maybe I just didn't see the signs. You know, I'm a recovering drug addict. I used to be that guy. And I have a soft spot for people who I see that have potential. And I think, you know, they could really, if they could just get past it, really break out. But like my sponsor says, you are not responsible for the outcome. Like, that's selfish. All you can do, it's like you can, well, you know, the cliche saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. You can guide people, you can give them suggestions, you can say what worked for you, but at the end of the day, you don't own the outcome. You are not responsible for it. And it's selfish to take that on personally. So, you know, I did what I could, and it just didn't work out, and that's okay, you know? It's not up to me. None of this is up to me. If there's one thing this trip has taught me, is that nothing is up to me, you know? Having expectations is nothing but planning resentment. You know what I mean? If you have expectations and it doesn't happen, what tends to happen, you get resentful, you get angry. And most of our problems come from trying to control situations we have no control over. And sometimes if you just have a little bit of faith and go for a ride, life takes you in some really interesting directions. I met some super cool people. I got some new contacts, and I have a whole new outlook on the future, the direction that I'm going to be taking things. It's like, honestly, it's like a veil has been lifted, and I see things much more clear now. I'm glad I did this. It's been nothing. It's been miserable, man. Just, you know, gut-wrenching terror. Just, you know, you lose everything you have. You get on a plane with nothing. You go to a place you've never been before, and it's just, it's a disaster when you get there. And then, I don't know, you let go and let God, and things just start to magically work out, you know? I miss my wife. Christina, I love you. I wish you were here. You have no idea how much you mean to me and how much help you've been over the years. You've always been in my corner. And I think that's something I was really missing. She doesn't love the sport. She loves me, and she puts up with my bullshit. And I need to do that more for her. And I've fallen short so many times. I'm sorry, you know. But hey, we came, we did what we said we were going to do, and now we live with the consequences. And all you can do is make adjustments and move forward. It isn't all bad. a lot of good is going to come from this. Love you guys. I'll get that video and compile all the goodies and try to show off some of the other lifters. There were some real monsters there, man. I got some really awesome footage. It's going to take me a while to kind of go through it all, but for all of you that have stuck with me this far, I love you. Throw me a subscription, a like, all that stuff. There is a lot more to come. Things are going to be going in a very different direction from here forth.